Hey friends, tonight we're diving into the quiet labyrinth, unwinding the myth of the Minotaur. But to make your atmosphere even more relaxing, please create a tranquil space. You might want to pour a cup of tea, settle into a favorite armchair, or simply close your eyes and listen. If you have a topic you'd like us to explore in a future video, leave a comment below. Your ideas are highly appreciated. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's make Hypnorium the biggest community of sleepers on YouTube. That being said, let's ease into tonight's story. As the gentle Aegean Sea cares for the ancient shores, warm waves lap softly over time-worn stones. You find yourself carried back in time to a place where myths whispered their secrets to those who listened closely enough. Here we are looking at life as it might have been for those who lived with the legend of the Minotaur floating just beyond the edge of their everyday lives. Imagine the winding streets of ancient Knossos, the city bustling with life yet bathing in an atmosphere of quiet resignation. Life for its inhabitants would begin with the early morning sun casting long shadows over clay roof tiles, casting a softly shimmering golden veil over the city's courtyard. People rise with the light, slipping from sleep's embrace into the day's tasks, like a gentle tide receding from the shore. Your senses catch the scent of warm bread, baked in communal ovens, mingling dreamily with the lingering scent of olive groves. Each step on the cobbled streets brings forth a melody, the rustle of sandals, the distant bleat of goats, and somewhere the cheerful vowels of merchants preparing for another day. Their goods range from vibrant pottery, redolent with rich pigments of ochre and azure, to freshly gathered figs and honey, darker than amber, yet brighter than a farmer's hope. Within this calm rhythm, you realize that the Minotaur myth acted less as a defining fear and more as a distant muse, a narrative that subtly colored the lives of the people living here. Each family told tales of the labyrinth and its inhabitant as a form of entertainment, a gentle reminder to tread carefully through life's moral mazes. Because, like a soft-spoken warning, the Minotaur symbolized a danger not lurking outside, but within, man's own flaws, unchecked and wandering a lifetime's maze. The heart of Knossos pulsed with life, gentle yet persistent, much like a heartbeat that finds rhythm through shared human experience. Imagine the soft colors of market stalls, awash with the sun's brush, displaying wares that entice both the hungry and the curious. Fish, still glistening with the morning catch, lay nestled next to baskets brimming with freshly harvested grapes. You might hear vendors' soft calls, full of gentle humor, as they praise the virtues of their goods, their voices weaving a tapestry with the soft chatter of those around.
In this world, health and hygiene had their rituals too, often relying on nature's graceful offerings and traditional care. Perhaps a gentle ritual involved aromas of lavender and rosemary, infusing bathing pools with tranquility, these ancient scents soothing the spirit as well as the skin. Olive oil, both sacred and commonplace, was a liquid that floated between uses, a balm for the tired body, a necessity for the daily bread, and a glowing lamp for the night's embrace. The art of slowing down was not taught, rather it was born from necessity. Life's pace in Knossos didn't compete with the labors of the heart, but moved alongside them, as if skillfully treading the threads of a loom. Leisure whispered a sweeter music than ambition, reminding people that to run with time was to miss these golden threads woven through every day. In restful moments, they'd retreat to gardens where olive branches whispered overhead and small fountains splashed a rhythm that stilled the world. Silence here wasn't absence, but presence, a language of its own, inviting reflection. These quiet spaces were their havens, places where the burdens of daily life could be set aside like a basket at an evening meal. Life in ancient Knossos bore with it the stories of its time, yet it blossomed in simplicity, wary of excess, the contrast to the labyrinth's complexity. The Minotaur was, after all, a creature confined to secrecy, his labyrinth a place of brooding shadows. In everyday life, the people found light.
And as you continue to wander through the Knossos of your imagination, you find yourself accompanying them toward the evening, where community gathers under the soft blush of dusk. Fires flicker to life, stories are retold, laughter peals like bells barely stirring the air, a promise kept to the day, fulfilling it with warmth. It's like another labyrinth, but this one is built from the heart's architecture, winding paths of friendship, laughter, love. Through this exploration, let the myth of the Minotaur untangle itself, like the thoughtful unwinding of a story before sleep, a gentle journey through history's labyrinth, where the past lies not as shadow, but soft glow. So as you take your leave from this ancient pathway, remember that some myths live in the spaces between truth and tale, where silence and sound whisk you further into dreams. Yield to these whispers of history. Explore their gentle lessons as your own breath steadies like the quiet rhythm of a slumbering heart. And so, the night continues beyond, both in time and place, taking its peaceful course. Just as the labyrinth unwinds, let your thoughts drift into the stillness, embraced by tales both ancient and timeless, until only dreams remain. Imagine yourself standing at the heart of a great ancient labyrinth. Picture the warm, honey-colored stones that form its winding walls, each weathered by the gentle touch of time and whispered memories. In the quietude of evening, a soft breeze carries the earthy scent of thyme and wild garlic, stirring the leaves and whispering through the tangled ivy clinging to the stones. The sun's final embrace bathes the stones in a serene, golden glow, and the labyrinth seems to breathe beneath the dusk's descent. As you stand here, you might ponder the life of those who once walked these paths. Consider the artisans and laborers, their hands chalky with dust, as they expertly fitted each stone into place. Their work was laborious, each stone demanding patience and precision, yet there lay a certain rhythm to their toil. It was a rhythm mirrored in the weaving of baskets or the crafting of pottery. Simple, repetitive tasks creating something greater than the sum of their parts. In the labyrinth's core, you can almost sense a heartbeat, a gentle pulse of life emanating from its depths. Near the maze, a small community bustled with daily life, farmers tending to their crops under the wide blue sky, the soft clucking of hens busy in the yard, and children playing amidst the olive trees, their laughter rising like the songs of tiny birds. Each day repeated with comforting predictability, and each night offered a sky alight with stars, serene in their eternal watch. Their homes, simple and sturdy, were crafted from the same materials as the labyrinth. Thatch roofs and hearths around which families would gather in the evening glow, sharing stories and meals. The scents of olive oil mingled with grilled fish, and the faint tang of freshly pressed grapes filled the air. This was a time when the day ended with the sun's descent and began again at its rise. timed not by the tick of a clock, but by the slow, steady rhythm of the earth turning.
In the quietude, your mind drifts back to the fabled Minotaur, whose presence once dominated stories of fear and courage. Yet, perhaps this creature was less a monster and more a symbol of lurking anxieties, an embodiment of the mysteries and unknowns that people have always grappled with in their lives. Like any tale passed down generations, its shape has changed, molded by storytellers' imaginations and listeners' fears. Yet here, in this tranquil setting, fear dissolves like mist under the morning sun. The Minotaur becomes just another thread in the rich tapestry of life, its tale woven into the fabric of daily existence. You can imagine how, nestled in their homes, whispered stories of the creature's roar would float through the air like lullabies, binding together communities and igniting their imaginations. Life in ancient Crete, you see, held a different kind of rhythm, one slowed by the absence of modern haste. Time itself seemed to breathe here, unhurried by the demands of instant gratification or digital distractions. Leisure took its turn with labor, and the gentle art of storytelling was a cherished pastime, rich with lessons and laced with amusement. Strolling along the pathways toward the heart of the labyrinth, you might pause to touch the cool, smooth stones. There's a quiet assurance to them, a sense of constancy, as if they have witnessed the ages slip by unnoticed while they continued their vigilant watch. Their surface under your hand speaks of ancient secrets, and you might wonder at the countless stories they could tell if only stones could speak.
This, too, is a kind of maze, not one of physical paths, but of thoughts winding through your mind, taking you ever deeper into reflection. It is here, perhaps, that the true labyrinth resides, not in stone, but in the heart's unending corridors. Imagine navigating these paths with the same care and curiosity one treads the physical maze, allowing each turn to reveal insights about our shared humanity. As the sun finally dips below the horizon, shadows stretch and merge, a gentle transition from day to night. Yet within the darkened corridors of the mind and stone, there is solace. In the tranquility of this labyrinthine experience, you've untangled something far greater than myth, the timelessness of human existence, rich with the echoes of laughter, the warmth of shared meals, and the soft, soothing weave of bygone tales.
As you navigate the winding passages of the ancient labyrinth, the ambiance around you gradually shifts. Each step leads you into another corner of forgotten history, where the myths and legends of the past whisper like the distant echoes of the sea against a rugged coastline. The air is tinged with a subtle hint of aged stone and the earthy musk that seems to cling to the walls, remnants of an age long gone, yet somehow eternal. Imagine the gentle scuffling sounds of soft sandals on the smooth, well-trodden path beneath you, and wonder for a moment how many have walked this path before, their thoughts perhaps equally as tangled and intricate as the maze itself. Here, the Minotaur once roamed, a creature woven from the threads of fear and misunderstanding, much like the labyrinth that held it, a creation of complexity that captivates and confounds the mind. Pause to feel the texture of the labyrinth's walls, cool and slightly rough under your fingertips, reminiscent of the mottled bark of a time-worn tree. These stones have stood for centuries, witnesses to the myth's unfolding, a silent record of human imagination, as vivid in its silence as the stories it birthed in crowded, vibrant markets so long ago. In the quietude of the labyrinth, consider the people of the past, their daily lives thrumming with tasks and hopes, their stories painted in the colors of their surroundings, the luscious greens of olive groves and the deep blues of the Aegean Sea. For them, the Minotaur was a cautionary tale, a symbol of chaos and savagery contained, a reminder, perhaps, of the untamed wildness lurking just beneath the veneer of civilization.
Imagine, if you will, stepping back into their world, the cool air of pre-dawn still holding the earthy fragrance of the earth, as olive trees swayed gently under the morning breeze, their gnarled branches framing a view of distant hills, washed in the pink and golden hues of a waking sun. Look closer, and you glimpse the daily hustle, families waking, fires kindled for warmth and meals, voices softly calling out as the village begins to stir. These simple rituals cast a comforting light on the complex lives they lived, much like the labyrinth's winding paths themselves, both confusing and deeply rooted in the soil of routine necessity. The hum of voices, a weaving of the mundane with the sacred, where myths like that of the Minotaur served as both a tale of tradition and a creator of shared identity. Reflect for a moment on those small joys and fears that filled their days, fears perhaps not unlike our own in essence. They worried about the harvest, the unpredictable whims of fate and fortune, the health of loved ones. Their joys were the sweet moments of connection, a child's laughter echoing under wide-open skies, or the simple pleasure of a shared meal. In this shared humanity, we find echoes of ourselves across the span of time. As you slowly navigate the terrain of these imagined pasts, picture how the labyrinth of life, both literal and metaphorical, served to bind them together in a web of community, a safety net against the unknown lurking in the shadows of night and uncertainty. And so the labyrinth stands, not just as a place, but as a reflection of the human mind's innate complexity, a symbol of our fears and desires given form in stone and story. Let yourself drift back to the labyrinth's heart, where every stone, every shadow, holds a whisper of those who tread here before. With each careful step, there's comfort in the rhythm of ancient footfalls, a sense of belonging to a tapestry that stretches across the centuries. Thus, in the stillness of the labyrinth's corridors, listen closely, for there's a quiet symphony of history's lullaby, echoing softly, a reminder that while we may wander through mazes of our own making, we are never truly lost. We're simply travelers in time, bound by the stories we choose to tell and the peace we seek within them. As you step further into the story, you find yourself tracing the subtle whispers of a myth that has danced through time like a shadow flickering under the cool gleam of moonlight. Such tales weave effortlessly through the annals of history, gently unwinding their threads into the contours of our modern lives. Consider for a moment how the myth of the Minotaur reaches out, softly echoing through the corridors of your curiosity. The original tale emerges from the heart of ancient Crete, imbued with the rich texture of a society both vibrant and mysterious. Envision the island's bustling cityscapes, grandiose palaces adorned with frescoes depicting vibrant scenes of everyday life, artisans fashioning colorful pottery under the gentle susurrus of olive trees. Close your eyes, if you wish, and breathe to the rhythm of a Cretan day, enveloped in the warmth of the sun's embrace. Feel the gentle caress of the sea breeze as it interlaces with the aroma of wild thyme and rosemary, harmonizing with the melodic cries of seagulls dancing above effervescent waves. Imagine a place where the boundary between myth and reality feels almost tangible, like the cool, worn surface of a marble statue under your fingertips. Legend says King Minos of Crete, confronted with a divine bovine sent from Poseidon, found himself entangled in a web spun thicker by human frailties and divine retribution alike. Here, in the heart of his domain, the myth takes a distinctive shape, a labyrinth crafted with unwavering precision by the masterful Daedalus was more than a simple prison. It was an enigmatic symbol of the human condition, of complexities not easily untangled, and desires that leave deep footprints in the sands of time. Yet the labyrinth was not just stone upon stone, or cunning pathways wound tightly together. It was a space where light tangled with shadow, playing tricks of perception, an endless echo of passageways reflecting our own journeys and endeavors. In the cool, untouched air of these inner sanctums resided the Minotaur, a creature born of an ill-fated union, embodying not mere beastly menace, but a profound symbol of a world where human and nature, divine and earthly, converge in bittersweet harmony. It is within this tapestry that Theseus, the hero of Athens, steps forward. He comes armed not just with courage, but also with a heart open to the tenderness of wisdom provided by Ariadne, Minos' daughter, her essence interwoven with compassion and strength. Imagine her handing him a skein of thread. More than a tool, it is a gesture of trust, an unspoken hope that somewhere within the heart of chaos lies a path to understanding and peace. Transition gently from one moment to the next. Feel the soft tension carried in the thread as it unspools quietly behind Theseus, whispering a narrative of its own through the ancient corridors. Sense the anticipation, the quiet resolve as he ventures deeper, eyes adjusting to the interplay of dim light and shadow. With each step, he inhales the subtle scent of damp earth beneath his feet, a fragrance so ancient it feels like an echo of times long past. Such was the essence of the ancient world, a place both familiar and distant, where the myths serve as bridges over the passage of millennia, guides that lead us through the fog of time, gently rekindling flames of introspection and wonder in the hearths of our hearts. In your own labyrinth of thoughts and dreams, consider the thread you might follow, a thread that guides not just through ancient tales, but through your own pathways, the twists and turns of everyday life. Feel its delicate texture as it winds around your fingers, an unbreakable bond between the past and present, myth and reality. As you drift deeper into this unfolding tale, let the echoes of footsteps, the cool touch of stone, and the tender warmth of imagined sunlight wash over you. Allow each scene to softly etch a moment of stillness and reflection into your journey, weaving a tapestry of tranquility as you find rest in the arms of myths, eternal yet ever so quietly evolving. And as you let the gentle undulations of this narrative lull you into a peaceful reverie, you might find yourself wondering about the small details of life in ancient Crete, the rhythmic cicadas singing their own ancient choruses, the myriad milk-white butterflies dancing above the sweet fields adorned with poppies and daisies, and the timeless ebb and flow of tides softly kissing the shore. Rest now, immersed in the twilight of history, where the myth of the Minotaur gently whispers its timeless stories to those who care to listen, asking not for answers, but perhaps just a moment of quiet contemplation and shared understanding. In this gentle world, dreams intermingle with history, weaving a calming narrative into the tapestry of your night. As we continue our exploration of Crete, with its meandering pathways and whispering olive groves, let us pause for a moment in one of its timeless villages. Picture gentle breezes carrying the faint hints of rosemary and thyme, mingling with the golden warmth of the Mediterranean sun. The inhabitants of this village, much like ourselves, sought solace in the simple rhythms of daily life, framed by the faint clinking of goat bells in the distance. Each twist and turn of their cobblestone streets whispered stories from an age long past. Imagine now the village square, its centerpiece a weathered fountain, murmuring a continuous lullaby to anyone who cared to listen. Here, around this fountain, the life of the village unfolded like quiet poetry. People gathered, not in haste nor with fanfare, but with the gentle camaraderie of everyday discourse. A tapestry of conversations blended together, soft laughter, thoughtful musings, and the occasional sing-song of a child. Their rituals of friendship were woven over cups of honeyed wine and platters of ripe figs, each sweet morsel serving as a pause in which lasting bonds were fortified. As the day would edge gently into dusk, the village took on a different hue, a dusky pink that slowly melted into twilight. Lamps would be lit, casting a gentle glow through arched windows, spilling out into the narrow lanes. For the villagers, it was a time of rest, of gathering with family in cozy abodes, dining on simple stews seasoned with herbs from their gardens. Their world, anchored in simplicity, offered a comforting rhythm that lulled the stars to dance in agreement above. Now, allow your thoughts to wander to the labyrinth itself, an enigma carved with purpose, yet steeped in mystery. Imagine stepping lightly on its cool stone floor, the air inside carrying its own uniquely musty fragrance, unhurriedly preserved over centuries. The walls, ancient and steadfast, cradle your surroundings in a calm embrace, as if they too were breathing slowly in and out in a steady, grounding rhythm. The labyrinth's passageways hold secrets in their silence, each corridor a narrative bending through time. Your footsteps echo softly along these storied paths, inviting your senses to immerse in the tranquil communion between yourself and the stone. There are no minotaurs in this daydream, only your own thoughts, gently encouraged to unfold and meander through the maze of history and your own imagination. In these serene chambers, one might picture mythical figures from times past, treading the same quiet halls. Figures like Daedalus, the master architect, could almost be seen in the mind's eye, a solitary figure drawing plans and envisioning wonders amidst the cool whisper of stone. His heart, perhaps, mirrored the light touch of a gentle breeze, forever woven into the labyrinth's fabric by the hands of time itself. And what of the people outside the labyrinth, in the heart of the ancient world? It is fascinating to think of how life thrived alongside this myth. There were artisans diligently crafting exquisite pottery, and traders, their barges laden with colors from other lands, rich saffron, deep indigos, shimmering silvers, the treasures of faraway slopes and seas. Each craft infused with the care of someone's hands, offering a tangible peace through their mastery of skill and patience. The past, bathed in its tapestry of myth and truth, intersects gently with the quiet here. No loud proclamations needed, no grand gestures required, just the peaceful acknowledgement of lives like yours, woven with hope and fear, joy and sorrows bold and quiet. The people of this bygone era, with their tenacious hold on existence, remind us gently that there was indeed peaceful perseverance amidst the grandeur and a mystery of legend.
Let this tranquil journey through time's corridors remind you of the simple yet profound truths of daily life. A life cradling both the quiet wisdom of those who lived it and the calming embrace of its never-ending rhythm. Like a labyrinth itself, life invites us to wander at our own pace, finding small pockets of serenity along the way.
As the morning light gradually spreads its golden fingers across the landscape, let's drift further into the heart of ancient Crete, where the legend of the Minotaur was birthed within the vast twisting corridors. Picture these legendary pathways not just as mere stone walls, but rather as lush green hedges, where each turn is embraced by the sweet scent of jasmine and the distant melodic songs of early birds tucked away in the branches high above. As you wander these ancient paths in your mind's eye, you might find yourself pondering how life buzzed here, like a gentle hum just at the edge of clear hearing. The labyrinth wasn't simply a structure of daunting passages, but a living, breathing entity, deliciously tangled with every life that came within its embrace. Perhaps goats bleated somewhere nearby, adding their voices to the tapestry of morning sounds, their bells tinkling faintly as they were led to graze in sun-dappled clearings. In these moments of quiet reflection, let us pause and imagine the daily rhythms of the people who crafted such myths. Can you envision the simple, earthy routine of a Minoan farmer rising with the dawn to tend crops? Each footfall on the cool, damp earth sinks into a ground that has borne countless harvests. The farmer brushes his hands softly against the ripening stalks, the sun warming his skin as it climbs gradually higher into the sky. It's a world where tasks are performed by hand, where the connection to the earth is as tangible as the texture of soil underfoot. As the day unfurls, let us picture women in the heart of a bustling village, their days tied gently to the rhythm of domestic life. Around them flickers the soft light of a hearth, where water simmers quietly in clay pots. The air carries the scent of freshly baked bread, mingling with the sweet fragrance of blooming wildflowers, a sensory tapestry that defines a home. Here, amid the calming crackles and pops of firewood, women gather to weave stories, threads, and laughter into warm textiles that would be passed down through generations.
Imagine how in the quiet corners of this world, children darted in gleeful play, their laughter blending with the rustle of leaves and the occasional bark of a vigilant dog guarding its domain. Then, as dusk approaches, the village might slip into a ritual of rest, shadows lengthening and stretching across ancient stones, whispering the countless secrets of lives intertwined with the myth of the Minotaur. Within this ancient tranquility, the maze of life's complexities is met with accepting simplicity, a stark contrast against the daunting unknown of the labyrinth itself. As we move deeper into the fabric of such a society, let us mull over the idea of worship, which was gently woven into the everyday lives of these ancient people. Within this world, stony temples stood silent and solemn, places where incense might curl upwards in lazy spirals toward the open sky. Let us visualize devotees entering such a space, carrying offerings that smell of honey and fresh herbs. These sacred places were spaces for quiet reflection, bathed in the warm glow of flickering oil lamps and the occasional beam of moonlight creeping through narrow windows. Here the mysteries of the heavens and the earth converged, and perhaps in the stillness between their heartbeats, residents of Crete sought answers to questions as perennial as the stars above.
Walking through the corridors of time, it's touching to notice how the balance of giving and receiving played out, an exchange not unlike the rhythmic back-and-forth tides that lapped at the shores not so far away. Bound by the rhythm of seasons and the cycles of the moon, these moments offered a reprieve from the demands of life, a chance to pause and be swept into gentle wonder, perhaps not that different from ourselves.
And as our exploration unwinds like the tangled paths of the labyrinth itself, remember to hold close the softer, whispered stories of those who lived under the vast Cretan sky. These were real people, with dreams and fears folded quietly into their lives. People who looked up at the same moon, though ages apart, shared in its soft luminescence, and perhaps felt a similar yearning for understanding and connection beyond their small orbit. In the veil of night that kisses their world goodbye at the dawn, thoughts unfurl like tendrils of vine, exploring how these echoes resonate with our own lives today. The labyrinth might be a symbol of mystery, yet it is also a testament to human curiosity, a shared journey through the complex yet beautiful pattern called life. So let us rest our minds here for a moment, weaving these images gently into the fabric of our thoughts, the hum of the distant past, whispering soft wisdoms you could easily miss in the bustle of today. Each part of this tale, every delicate detail, is a gentle reminder of the interconnectedness of history and present, myth and reality, a serene path through the labyrinth of existence. And here, with calm breath and open heart, let us linger in this quiet marvel, like a traveler who chooses to pause and really see, really feel the world through which they have been passing. This moment of stillness, infused with the quiet echoes of those ancient days, becomes our own soft sanctuary, a place where the myths we've unspun can weave themselves back into the stories of our own lives, threading tranquility into today's tapestry of being. The labyrinth is more than just a maze of stone and myth. It's a tapestry of ancient time, woven with strands of human experience. As you stand at its entrance, you might draw a long, calming breath, feeling the warm stones beneath your feet. You imagine what it'd be like to step within, each step a gentle echo of footsteps trodden eons ago. The air would be cool, with a faint scent of earth and moss, reminding you that a world of tale and legend lies beyond those twisting corridors. Journeying deeper into its complex pathways, your senses become attuned to the subtle rhythms of the past, the soft sound of leather sandals scuffing against stone, perhaps, or the distant hum of activity from the beyond. Here and there, shafts of sunlight break through, casting bright patterns on the path, like nature's own murals, the kind of natural artistry that calls for pause, for reflection. There's a symmetry to it all, a quiet harmony in the interplay of light and shadow, stone and sky. This labyrinth, in its most fundamental sense, is a place of threads, of connections spun across time. You might wonder about those who built these winding walls, each stone placed with care, a labor of both purpose and persistence. You could picture them in their everyday life, perhaps taking a moment here and there to share a story, a joke, or a quiet comfort. It's a space where the mundane touches the mythical, where daily tasks were as much a part of its essence as the stories that sprang forth. The daily life within the vicinity of such legendary spaces often brings a rhythmic comfort, an echo of a world both recognizable and foreign. The ancient inhabitants might have managed with the same core concerns we consider today: food and health, rest and recreation. But here, perhaps they crafted these elements into rituals resembling slow, deliberate acts of meditation.
You imagine the scent of freshly baked bread drifting through the air, mixing with the herbal fragrance of medicinal plants, small, humble offerings to the gods of health and vitality.
In these ancient homes, life moved at a more deliberate pace, synchronized with the sun and the seasons. Mornings could begin with gentle warmth spilling into simple rooms, the sound of clay pots clinking softly in preparation for a day's sustenance. Meals might have been slow, communal affairs, a chance to pause, to savor, to share in the richness of both flavors and companionship. The act of eating, of breaking bread as one, was perhaps a soothing balm against the uncertainties of the world outside. The care for the body, too, intertwined with daily rituals. There might have been baths in fragrant waters, warm and enveloping, the steam rising softly like mist, cleansing both skin and spirit. Here, health isn't just a matter of survival, but a gentle nurturing of the self, a way to sidestep anxiety with calm, methodical, repeated patterns. As you imagine these daily dances of the past, you might consider the ways stress was managed in a world that was perpetually shifting, changing with the whims of gods and the tides of fortune. Leisure, perhaps, was not a lavish pursuit, but simple, heartfelt. It could be the laughter shared over a game of chance, or the gentle hum of nurturing stories passed down around a hearth at night, tales crafted to ease minds into sleep's embrace. The labyrinth, then, stands as a metaphor, not just for the epic quests of heroes like Theseus, but also for the simpler, quieter journeys of everyday life. It is a puzzle, a pathway. It reflects both the complexities and the simplicities of existence, the threads that bind people to place and story, myth and memory.
And as the sun begins its descent, casting a golden glow upon the labyrinth's stone walls, you might find yourself wrapped in a gentle curiosity. You might wonder about the nights when those ancient peoples lay beneath the same stars, their minds heavy with myths and mystery, yet perhaps at peace, lulled by the same cosmic cadence that governs us all. The labyrinth, enigmatic, enduring, continues to sigh with the echoes of stories untold. Each corner you turn seems to whisper promises of discovery, yet within its winding ways lies a paradox of familiarity. The more you delve, the clearer it becomes that within the stony paths, the heart of the human experience beats still, soft and steady as the tides. The sun draped itself over Crete's terrain in a sleepy embrace, casting long, languid shadows that crept across the stone pathways, weaving through the low hills. A shepherd quietly moved his flock, the gentle jingle of bells mingling with the soft rustle of leaves. It painted a soundscape of serene, rural harmony, one steeped in a timeless routine shared between man and nature. Here, amidst the olive groves and fields of wheat, people had woven their lives into the tapestry of the land, creating a rich, slow-paced symphony of existence. In this corner of Crete, daily life bore the tender marks of simplicity. The villages lay basked in golden hues, where the muttered chatter of women at their looms and the comforting rhythm of the potter's wheel marked the cadence of ordinary days. Rows of whitewashed homes stood pristine against the landscape, each adorned with clay pots overflowing with herbs whose scents danced lightly in the warm breeze. Rosemary, thyme, and sage blending in the air like a gentle, earthy perfume. As you wander further into this tranquil scenery, imagine the daily symphony of life's simple tasks. Early each morning, the air would buzz softly with preparations for the day's meals. Women would rise with the dawn to knead dough, the soft percussion of knuckles against flower-dusted surfaces underscored by the low hum of voices sharing morning tales or plans whispered with curiosity and warmth. Bread was life, its creation a ritual of grounding and connection. The aroma of freshly baked loaves would waft through the village, a fragrant embrace signaling both the start of the day and a link in the chain of communal acts that wove families together. Beyond these peaceful domestic scenes, the land teemed with subtle rhythms, a child's laughter as they dashed between the trees, chasing shadows and dreams. The gentle murmur of a stream as it folded over smooth stones, converging eventually with the vastness of the sea beyond. Life, in its gentle cycles, was mirrored in the natural surroundings. Seasons turned with the same deliberate pace that guided hands through the spinning of wool or the careful arrangement of market goods. Commerce itself was a reflection of the island's heartbeat, resonating not with frenzied clamors, but rather with subdued, deliberate exchanges. Market stalls brimmed with offerings from the earth, olives glistening like dark jewels, pottery and sun-kissed terracotta, and the sharp tang of feta cutting through the air like the soft notes of a flute. Traders would greet each other with nods and quiet words, their voices enveloped in the soft din of bartering, reminiscent of a gentle breeze stirring the surface of the sea ever so lightly. Perhaps in this gentle tableau, one might seek the guiding lines to unravel the story of the labyrinth and its resident, the Minotaur, those stories whispered in intimate corners but echoing like ancient poetry across the land. For myths, too, were part of these shared lives, stories shielded from the glare of reality but ever present in twilight conversations and moonlit gatherings. They served as metaphoric labyrinths themselves, where one might find reflections of daily fears and hidden desires, or simply a gentle lesson concealed within the web of fantastic details. Among the villagers, legends painted mental pathways that meandered like the winding footpaths of Crete, asking questions more than they provided answers. They wondered whether the Minotaur was indeed a beast of terror, or perhaps a misunderstood soul yearning for solace in a confusing world, much like any other. How quaint that a creature born of myth held such sway over dreams and realities alike, uniting people in shared whispers and quiet contemplation under the starlit sky. So here, surrounded by the hills softly folding into each other like the pages of a well-loved book, take a moment to listen to the murmur of the past. Breathe in the same air that stirred Minoan stones. Witness the same stars that offered guidance to ancient wayfarers. And let the story of old Crete wrap itself around you like the gentle embrace of an ageless friend. As time wanders forward, its pace unhurried, relax into this intersection of history and myth, a place where each shadow and echo adds to the intricate design of life's great labyrinth. The bustling heart of ancient Athens, the Agora, unfolded each day like a vivid tapestry woven from threads of routine and necessity. Picture yourself wandering these storied streets, your steps cushioned by sun-warmed stones, the air tinged with the earthy fragrance of olive oil, and the sweet, subtle scent of figs whispers tales of a time long past. Merchants pitched their shaded stalls beneath the open sky, their voices mingling like a soft symphony that persuaded rather than pressured. Here you might find a vendor deftly balancing an array of clay jars, their surfaces etched with decorative patterns, filled with olive oil that gleams like captured sunlight. Each jar tells its own tale, from the hands that molded its curves to the harvesters who plucked olives from swaying branches. As you explore further, your fingertips glide over rows of textiles, vibrant fabrics dyed with indigo and saffron hues. Their textures vary. Some are as soft as a whisper, others as robust as the hands that crafted them. The tranquility of a simple transaction in this scene becomes a meditation in motion, an exchange not just of goods, but of stories, memories, and hopes. Around you, the gentle clatter of terracotta amphorae being moved in careful hands mingles with the rhythmic clinking of coins. Beyond the city, the countryside whispers an equally calming cadence. Imagine strolling through fields of barley swaying like soft ocean waves in the gentle breeze. Here, the rhythm of life is set by the sun's dependable journey across the sky, marking time with its rise and setting. Farmers, embedded in the land's embrace, move with a deliberate slowness, tending to their rows of crops, their sandals stirring the earth's fertile layers.
In this pastoral tapestry, you might come across small stone houses, their surfaces kissed by the ages, standing steadfast against the tests of time. Their rugged beauty reminds you of the people who dwelled within, living lives rooted in simplicity and trust in the natural cycles. Inside, hearths burn with a comforting warmth, infusing the air with the familiar aroma of bread, freshly baked, crunchy on the outside, delicate within. The olive trees, those ancient sentinels, stand watch over the landscape, their branches heavy with fruit. Underneath their canopies, shadows stretch and contract like slow, gentle breaths, creating patterns on the ground that speak of stability and ancient wisdom. A farmer's day is governed by the seasons, their labor intertwined with the gifts of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, who is said to walk these fields when the moon rises, leaving blessings of fertility and abundance. Imagine now the evenings, where the golden sun dips beneath the horizon, casting a coral glow that kisses the tops of distant hills. The air cools, bringing with it a smell of earth and grass, and families gather in communal spaces, their laughter and conversations weaving through the twilight. Here, in this gathered warmth, stories of old are shared, mythic tales of gods and heroes, as familiar yet wondrous as the endless night sky above. Much like the labyrinthine legends we ponder, these narratives serve to remind their listeners of the winding paths of life, where clarity emerges from confusion and calm returns after chaos. Such stories, murmured in these peaceful moments, are like soothing lullabies, capable of keeping even the most restless of souls anchored and at peace. And thus, as you continue your quiet exploration of these ancient worlds, every sight, smell, and sound combines to form a rich symphony of living history, inviting you to pause, breathe, and simply be. The gentle flow of each scene melds into the next, carrying with it the essence of tranquility found in an age long past, yet achingly familiar. As the sun dips below the horizon, the labyrinth of Knossos is bathed in the golden hue of dusk, casting long, gentle shadows across its ancient stones. It's a time when the air cools and the world seems to exhale a sigh of relief. Imagine yourself wandering through this serene maze, your footsteps muffled by the soft earth underfoot. The scent of oregano and thyme blankets the pathways, their aromatic presence enhancing the stillness that envelops you. The labyrinth, unlike its many representations in myths, was never intended to trap or confuse. It was perhaps more a symbol of introspection, a place where one might lose themselves, only to find the simplicity of life's gentle truths waiting patiently at the center.
The walls, entwined with vines and kissed by the sea breeze, tell their own stories, whispered through the rustle of leaves. They echo with the footsteps of those who have walked this path before, perhaps caught between the legends and their own quiet thoughts. As you meander deeper into the labyrinth, pause for a moment. Close your eyes and listen to the symphony of the evening. The gentle hum of cicadas fills the air, merging seamlessly with the distant lull of ocean waves. It's a timeless soundscape, one that might have been just as soothing thousands of years ago. Imagine someone from antiquity standing in this very spot, seeking solace away from the tumult of palace intrigues and everyday dilemmas. In this place, one can almost sense the presence of the Minotaur, not as a fearsome creature, but as a quiet guardian of the labyrinth, misunderstood and longing for peace. He was said to dwell at the heart of this complex, a symbol of our inner fears, of the unknown, the unexamined parts of ourselves. Here, in the labyrinth, you find neither monster nor hero, only the gentle whisper of olive trees, their ancient trunks twisted into graceful sculptures by time. Underfoot, the ground is a magnificent display of mosaic artistry, each piece meticulously laid by hands centuries old. These tiles tell stories, scenes of nature intertwining with mythology, of birds in flight and gods engaged in their celestial dance. The colors, vibrant yet softened by the passage of time, blend harmoniously with the earthen tones around you, creating a visual rhythm that guides your thoughts' gentle flow. This dance of color and history underfoot invites you to reflect on the daily lives of those who once called this place home. Imagine them tending to their daily chores, gathering fragrant herbs from the surrounding hillsides, their robes gently rustling as they moved in and out of the stone corridors. Meals would have been simple, yet bursting with flavors, a feast for the senses, a culinary tradition that embraced the bounty of land and sea. When the day's work was done, they might have gathered under the sprawling branches of an olive tree, sharing stories as shadows lengthened. Perhaps they, too, took comfort in the labyrinth's quiet embrace, finding peace in its ancient stones, just as you do now. Standing here, amidst the mosaic trails and whispered echoes, it's easy to understand how such a place could inspire legends. The labyrinth represents the journey inward, a winding path that, while complex, ultimately leads us back to our center. It's a reminder that peace is not something we find in external distractions, but rather something we cultivate within. With each step, each subtle shifting of light and shadow, you explore a past that is simultaneously distant and intimate, like a dream half remembered. The labyrinth becomes a symbol of life's uncertainties, the turns and choices we face, the paths we tread seeking clarity among the unfolding of days. Here, it's not about the destination, but the journey, the quiet moments of reflection that shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As you reach a small open courtyard, an ancient olive tree stands sentinel in the gathering twilight, its gnarled branches stretching out like an offering to the sky. Its leaves whisper softly in the breeze, silvered by the fading light. Here you can rest, breathing in the aroma of the surrounding earth and vegetation, a fragrance as old as time itself. Sit beneath this arboreal guardian, letting the weight of centuries wash over you. The sky above shifts to a deep lavender, sprinkled with stars just beginning to twinkle, a gentle reminder of the vastness above and around us. The night promises rest, laying a soft blanket over the labyrinth, enveloping it, and you in tranquility. And so the labyrinth remains, a serene, timeless space encouraging you to pause, to breathe, and perhaps to listen more closely to the whispers of history carried on the wind.
Throughout this journey, we begin to understand that the Minotaur's myth, while grand and storied, perhaps invites us to look deeper, to reflect not just on the tales we tell, but on the truths we live. It's a reminder that in the quietest corners of the labyrinth, both real and imagined, we might find not monsters, but echoes of ourselves, seeking peace amid life's elaborate tapestries.
As you wander further into the sun-dappled passageways of ancient Crete, close your eyes and imagine the gentle clinking of clay pots being moved to and fro, the rhythmic sweep of brooms against the terracotta floors. It's a soft symphony, a tapestry of sounds that paints a vivid picture of daily life, much like the frescoes adorning these walls. Sunlight filters through small windows, casting warm pools of light that seem to dance and flicker across the surfaces, illuminating the daily routines of those who once called this place home. In this serene labyrinth of time, let us pause to consider how the people of this ancient era managed the essential yet often overlooked aspect of life, food and sustenance. Picture yourself standing in a large, airy kitchen, its open windows welcoming the gentle breeze from the Aegean Sea. Can you hear the murmur of voices, perhaps a soft chuckle as an elder shares a story? It's a place where sense and simplicity blend, where sustenance is prepared not in haste, but with intention and care. Imagine the fragrance that envelops you here, herbs like mint, thyme, and oregano, their scents mingling in a fragrant harmony that promises both health and flavor. The earthiness of freshly baked barley bread joins this aromatic symphony, its scent weaving through the space like a gentle thread of connection to the world outside. Indeed, barley was a staple, grounding the community with simple nourishment as they went about their daily tasks. In those simpler times, meals were communal and nourishing ceremonies, opportunities to reinforce bonds and share in the abundance of their land. Families gathered to partake in these meals where elements of local fare, the fresh catch of the day from the sparkling azure sea, or perhaps olives, golden and brined to perfection, would be lovingly shared around a simple wooden table. Such scenes of shared life and communal eating have a timeless appeal, and their echoes might remind you of a bustling city family dinner today, only with the soft clinks replaced by clatter and the chiming of laughter under twinkling bulbs. Besides food, life's sustenance extended to simple yet vital acts of managing health and hygiene within their cultural context. Imagine the fresh morning air spilling into a bathing space, filled with the rich scent of herbs and oils. Individuals would seek comfort in the soothing ritual of washing away the remnants of the day before. It's easy to visualize a scene wherein natural oils, born of olives, infused with various herbs, do more than just cleanse. They rejuvenate the spirit and perhaps even offer a quiet pause of contemplation. The Minotaur's labyrinth might be but a myth, a tale of a beast lurking within the intricacies of corridors, but in truth, these corridors echo with the lived stories of real people. Imagine the gentle tap of sandals against stone floors, the soft exchange of voices as neighbors pass each other in the twilight. Within these walls, as the cool evening sets in, fears are acknowledged but do not dominate. The darkness is a partner in the natural cycle, as sure as the dawn will come again. The rhythm of life here moves much like the lull of waves against the shore, where tranquility and subtle curiosity meet in a delicate balance. Wars and myths may stir excitement and wonder in retellings, yet the everyday life that teems beneath these stone walls carries a rhythm all its own, a beating heart of calm profundity. Listening to these tales can be like walking along a quiet beach, a place where your thoughts can drift softly, ebbing and flowing like the tides. In embracing these quieter aspects of the past, we connect to a lineage of human experience that transcends time. And so, as you wander back to the present, let the serenity of these ancient echoes travel with you, like a gentle melody that lingers long after the music has ceased. Here, in the world's quiet places, both then and now, you might find the whisper of peace you've been seeking.
As our exploration of this section draws to a close, the warm glow of the late afternoon sun stretches out its fingers, coloring the world in soft, peachy hues. You feel time slip away softly, much like the end of a well-loved tale. Rest in the gentle solace that history holds within its folds, a labyrinth of stories waiting patiently to be discovered.
Imagine, if you will, the tranquil start to a day on the sun-kissed island of Crete, where the air is still cool with the last tender touches of night. As the morning mist gradually fades, the rich scent of the earth fills your lungs, redolent of olive groves and the faint briny whisper of the Aegean Sea. This is the world of ancient Minoans, a people as colorful and intriguing as the very myths entwined with their history. Our focus meanders now through the labyrinthine streets of a Minoan village. Picture stone houses with vibrant frescoes clinging to their exteriors, images of bull leapers and serene dolphins dancing across walls, a testament to both the artistry and the vibrant spiritual life of this civilization. Their colors glow with a life so vivid, it's as if they might leap right into your surroundings. In these villages, daily life churns softly, wrapped in the rhythmic hum of communal routines. Early mornings are a dance of gentle productivity. Women gather at communal ovens, the smoky warmth welcoming as they shape dough for the day's bread. Their laughter echoes, a gentle music that mingles with the fragrant aroma of baking. As they work, they trade stories and recipes, each tale seasoned with a dash of mirth or wisdom passed down over generations. Men, their garments stained with the earth and scented by the animals they herd, meander towards the fields or the sea. They share in the day's tasks, sometimes tending herds of goats, their bells a soft symphony echoing through the hills. Other times casting nets into the azure waves, hoping the sea is generous. Theirs is a life bound to the land and waters, their toil steady and unassuming, yet vitally intertwined with the sustenance of their community.
Now, picture as the labyrinths of earthly paths flow towards the heart of their spiritual world, the temple complexes. Here the hum of daily life rises with a solemn sense of purpose. Priests and priestesses, clad in flowing garments, bear vessels of olive oil and honeycomb, offerings to the deities who watch silently over all. The air here is rich with incense, herbal and sweet, its smoke crawling skyward in lazy spirals. These sacred spaces, carved into hillsides or standing tall above the sea, offer sanctuary and contemplation. They are the serene refuge where the sacred and the mundane meet, where the mythical echoes of Minos blend with the quiet whispers of the sea breeze. It is a tranquility that roots deeper into the soul, offering solace from the chaos of unrecorded fears and the labyrinth of life's uncertainties.
As the day lengthens, these villagers seek small recourses from work. Meals are leisurely, savoring the bounty provided by the god-touched earth. Picture platters of figs and grapes, ornamented with olives and zesty cheeses. Unleavened bread still warm from the oven, mingling its aroma with that of garlicky twists of roasted lamb. Wine flows, sweet and heady, its deep notes as rich as the island's soil. Conversations drift leisurely over these shared meals, weaving a tapestry of stories. Evenings stretch languidly, the vibrant colors of sunset washing over the landscape. There is a comfortable idyll to evening's embrace. Families gather, stories are spun, and the young ones gaze starry-eyed at a sky no less mythical than their favorite tales. The constellations above tell their own stories, eternal markers guiding the Minoans in navigation as much as in the revelations of divine narratives concocted around hearty hearth-fires.
And as you glide gently through this rhythm of Minoan life, it becomes clear that here, amidst the heartbeat of an ancient world, there is a labyrinth far more important than legend's maze of stone. These are the labyrinths woven from threads of daily life, where each person, ordinary yet irreplaceable, finds their path winding through a tapestry of shared history and myth. In this time, stress is a very different concept. Fears here are familiar. The negotiation with nature's whims, the timeless tango between humanity and the divine. But there is also a harmony crafted through age-old rituals and shared experiences, binding individuals within the collective embrace of their culture. Perhaps, as you drift on the cusp of sleep, you might find a strange comfort in knowing that the labors and loves that wove the lives of these ancient beings are not so different from your own. They walked their paths as you walk yours, with hopes that glisten in the wake of dawn, and dreams that whisper as nightfall descends. In this distant past they knew, much as you do, that true peace lies not within the confines of any labyrinth, whether mythical or mundane, but in the simple, enduring treasures of everyday life.
And so we drift quietly into another chapter of our story, as if sweeping gently across the time-worn stones of ancient Knossos, where the air hangs heavy with the scent of wild thyme and sea breezes. Imagine the gentle hum of life in a time long past, the clattering of potters at work, the soft murmur of traders haggling over wares, and the distant baaing of sheep being herded across the hillsides. Each sound tells a story. Each smell evokes a memory from a world that now only exists in whispers. In the heart of this bustling tableau lies the labyrinth, not as a terrifying maze of stone and shadow, but a structure of astounding complexity and purpose. It is a place where the mythical meets the mundane. Unlike our modern hustle, where the rhythm of life often moves at an overwhelming tempo, life in ancient Crete flowed with a gentler pace, dictated by the sun and the cycle of the seasons. It's here that we find the stories of those who lived within these ancient walls. Imagine, if you will, the sound of woven sandals padding softly on cobblestone streets. Each figure, shrouded in the soft, flowing garments of the time, moves with a deliberateness that modern life rarely allows. Their hands, strong and skilled, bear traces of their labors. Some carry baskets filled with olives or amphorae brimming with wine, while others cradle swaddled infants close to their hearts, murmuring soft lullabies that have been passed down through generations. Feel the faint warmth of the sun as it filters through pergolas of grapevines, casting delicate patterns on the paths below. A group of women gathers nearby, their voices a soothing chorus as they work, weaving life into each piece of fabric that emerges under their skilled fingers. You can almost smell the dye vats, a vibrant patchwork of scents, saffron, indigo, and vermilion, each color a testament to the ingenuity and craft of these people who found beauty in the everyday.
These courtyards would have been a center of community life, a physical manifestation of the heart of Knossos, much like parks or plazas might serve in today's urban spaces. It was here that news was exchanged, alliances were formed, and daily joys and sorrows were shared. Beneath the vast, open sky, life unfolded in a tapestry of sights and sounds, an intricate dance of nature and human existence. Yet, despite the pastoral calm, one cannot escape the stories of the labyrinth itself, that curious, winding place rumored to harbor both terror and wonder. Rather than envisioning a dark, foreboding labyrinthine prison, imagine a structure designed to challenge the intellect and spirit, a place perhaps more garden than dungeon. It might have been adorned with flowering plants and carefully carved stones, each turn revealing new fragrances and the sweet song of invisible birds nesting somewhere above. In this lush setting, the Minotaur emerges not as a beast of nightmares, but perhaps as a misunderstood guardian of secrets, a creature of mystery rather than monstrosity. Imagine the soothing rhythm of his steps, an echo lost to time as he padded through the labyrinth's shaded halls, a misunderstood being who might have been more a prisoner of stories than walls. Just as the labyrinthine paths wooed travelers to explore their depths, so too can our own minds become entwined in the stories and struggles we inherit. The Cretans might have seen in the Minotaur a reflection of their own fears and hopes, their own entrapments and freedoms. In a gentle twist of irony, the labyrinth could represent not only the complexity of life's journey, but also its potential for peace if navigated with patience and care, each twist and turn leading closer to understanding rather than mere escape. Such is the beauty of ancient lives, and also their wisdom. Each fragment of history reveals not only ancient mysteries, but also enduring truths, where simple joys and daily rhythms paint a picture of existence at once foreign and familiar. Imagine a sojourn through your own labyrinth of thoughts, where the stresses of modern living unwind to the gentle pace of an ancient world. Let the quietude of this ancient place seep into your thoughts, a gentle balm on the hurried pace of contemporary life. In reflecting on the labyrinth's many layers, both physical and metaphorical, perhaps we can find solace in the idea that each pathway we tread, no matter how winding, brings us closer to the heart of who we are and to the serenity we seek. As you find yourself wandering deeper into the heart of the labyrinth, the air feels laced with the quiet anticipation, as if the stones themselves hold their breath, eager to share their stories. Each corridor unfolds like the next page in a book, the way your fingers might glide softly over a well-loved novel, its pages whispering tales of adventure and ancient mythos. The light is gentle here, soothing rather than glaring, casting muted shadows that dance at the edges of your vision, encouraging relaxation rather than fear. The Minotaur, a figure of legend, looms large in your imagination. Yet in these moments of reflection, you begin to wonder about his life beyond the tale. Picture the beast, alone in the maze, his footsteps echoing like the resonant toll of a distant bell.
His senses would be his guide, the coolness of the stones beneath his feet, and the subtle earthy scent that suggests age and solitude. Often he might pause at a corner, ears perked to the sound of water drip, the steady, reliable sigh of the wind filtering through narrow passages, as intimate as a lullaby only he could hear. It's easy to envision that, amidst the silence, his thoughts might drift to memories of the island above. Perhaps he had moments of yearning, a desire to feel the sun's warmth beyond the shafts of light that occasionally dotted his path. Or maybe the labyrinth was a sanctuary for him, a place where the troubles of a world that did not understand him were kept at bay, cocooned within the unyielding beauty of his labyrinthine home. As you traverse this reflective landscape, imagine not just the physical journey through its winding trails, but also the emotional one. How might it feel to be at peace with solitude, to find solace in the rhythmic patterns of your surroundings? Perhaps there's a calming ritual in the everyday for the Minotaur, much like turning the pages of a beloved novel, or the small comforting cycles of modern life. These might be the simple joys we neglect to appreciate, lost in the noise of our own busy worlds.
You might even find a paradoxical comfort in the idea of the labyrinth itself, a place designed to confuse, yet steadfast in its construction. The stones may seem indifferent, but there's a truth in their ancient arrangement, as if they too have their story to tell. In this, there lies a lesson of acceptance, that life itself is a journey through pathless woods, where each twist and turn is part of a greater story yet unknown. In the midst of this gentle reverie, allow yourself to imagine that the labyrinth is more than just a prison for a creature like the Minotaur. Instead, envision it as a canvas for meditation and introspection, each step a brushstroke in the art of understanding one's place in the world. The maze becomes a metaphor for life's complexities, where in the seeking of its center, you might stumble upon small discoveries of self, leading ultimately not to a beast, but to a deeper knowledge, a calming truth. As you pause in this space, reflect on how these ancient stories have their gentle echoes in modern life. Perhaps our own daily labyrinths, those routines and rituals that shape the contours of our existence, offer a similar kind of solace and guidance. There's an unexpected contentment in embracing the unknown, in allowing each step to reveal new textures and sights. Much like the Minotaur, though bound by legend, we all navigate our own paths, sometimes obscure, but always with the possibility of light casting new patterns upon our way. So, as you breathe in and out, continue this journey gently, knowing that each winding turn, each soft step within these ancient halls is part of an unfolding tapestry, connecting past and present in a seamless narrative. With each passage you explore, let the reverie guide you into deeper reflection, where there are no monsters to fear, only stories to discover and moments of quiet to cherish.
Relax into the tapestry of your thoughts, woven with myth and a softer understanding. Feel the gentle embrace of history's echoes as they whisper, inviting you ever onward, deeper into the heart of the quiet labyrinth.
As we wander further into the intricate tapestry of mythology and reality, the common thread unspooling before us is the existence of the labyrinth, a true marvel of human imagination and architectural ingenuity. The air within this conceptual maze is heavy with the whispers of time, carrying the stories of those who dared to venture into its heart. You might imagine now the cool sensation of stone underfoot, as if your journey leads through echoing corridors, long forsaken but never forgotten. Picture these walls as they must have stood, uncompromising in their mystery,
yet inviting the idle, curious mind to ponder the secrets they conceal. Now let us soften our gaze to see beyond the looming Minotaur and into the daily lives of those who dwelled near this ancient puzzle. Men and women went about their routines much like you do today, only under the ancient Mediterranean sun. Envision the village at the edge of this labyrinth. Homes crafted from baked earth and thatched roofs that echoed the golden warmth of the setting sun. The streets were animated by the soft murmur of goats bleating, the cooing of doves in the rafters, and children's laughter carried on the breeze. There life pulsed gently, a rhythmic beating of time much slower and steadier than our own. Imagine the texture of hand-woven fabrics brushing against the skin, the intricate patterns of colored threads telling tales of old passed through generations, their colors as vibrant as the stories they accompany. The reds and yellows mirrored the glint of sunrise and sunset. The air would be full of scents, both familiar and foreign, rosemary and thyme from nearby gardens, and the faint musk of animals, mingling to create the rich aroma of a village alive with tradition and continuity. At the heart of this community, just a few paces from the imposing entrance to the labyrinth, imagine a small market. Sounds rise from this mingling of commerce and camaraderie, the rustle of baskets filled with fresh produce, the courteous haggling over price, shared in a tongue both firm and kind. This scene is like an afternoon at a busy farmer's market today, lively yet tinged with that ancient warmth, where olives plucked dark and ripe from gnarly branches and honey that tasted of golden Mediterranean sunshine have always spoken of cycles, the harvest, the sun, and the fervent hum of daily life. Amidst this vibrant community life lies a harmonious relationship with nature and time. Days were shaped not by an offbeat digital clock, but by the path of the sun and phases of the moon. The labor of fields and homes followed this celestial rhythm, lending their hands the firm, honest texture of the earth they tilled. The soothing pace of this timeless life gently reminds us that rest and work were once entwined in a dance far slower, more deliberate than we often allow ourselves today. And as their lives unfolded, a tapestry of skills and traditions was woven, spinning tales and songs, curating unique crafts that adorned their frame-built walls. They told stories not just for entertainment, but as a bridge across the river of time, preserving memory, morality, and mystery alike. It was through these gathered moments of narration that traditions remained vibrant, etching the ethos of their lives into the bedrock of history. Reflect quietly on how these people, much like ourselves, sought escape from the daily pressures by laughing, storytelling, and crafting. Even in the shadow of a monumental labyrinth, life thrummed steadily on. The villagers knew of the beast within, yet it occupied less space in their minds than tending to the simple joys and necessities surrounding them. In moments of stillness, the echo of these ancient lives reminds you, a gentle nudge of how you too might find solace amidst life's mazes. Beyond the legendary beasts lying at the center are the hearths of home, bathed in comforting light and simple, enduring pleasures. Today, it beckons you to hear its gentle call, a whisper not to lose sight of the soft comforts your daily rituals can bring. This melding of myth and mundane breathes life into the quiet labyrinth, unraveling its mythos through the lens of those who lived beside it. The calm promise that tranquility lay not necessarily through conquering beasts, but in forging bonds amidst adversity, finding peace even in the presence of awe-striking mysteries. As you walk through the labyrinth, the stones underfoot feel smooth and cool,
worn by countless footsteps over the ages. The air is imbued with a faint earthy scent, mingling with a salty breeze that whispers through the winding passages. This is a place where myths intertwine with the very real struggles and triumphs of those who once dwelt here. The labyrinth stretches out before you like the soft murmuring of a stream, its pathways echoing the tales of adventure and courage whispered through history. There is something mesmerizing about losing one's way in places like this, a certain tranquility in letting go of life's rigid maps and following the gentle turns of intuition. The twilight sky casts a warm golden glow that bathes the labyrinth in a comforting embrace. As you take each step, you almost feel the presence of those who walked these corridors centuries ago. Imagine the artisans who toiled under the sun, meticulously carving each stone, each passage imbued with their hope and dedication. Picture the market vendors of ancient Crete, their voices lively and melodic, as they exchanged figs and olives amidst the scent of freshly baked bread drifting from the communal oven.
In the heart of this maze, you can almost hear the laughter of children playing hide and seek, their small feet pattering against the stone, their giggles echoing softly before fading into the cooler night air. Children then, as children now, found joy in the simplest of moments, untouched by the burdens their elders carried, blissfully unaware of the mythic shadows that would one day overlay their carefree antics. Consider for a moment the people of Knossos. For every legend of kings and goddesses, there were farmers tending to goats under the wide Cretan sky, shepherds gazing thoughtfully at the horizon while their flocks grazed. Their everyday lives, woven with perseverance and simplicity, held a beauty all their own. Life was ruled by communal rhythms, the buzz of daily markets, the rich smells wafting from family hearths, and the gentle lullabies humming through the dusky air as the village settled into night. If you pause just here, where the path curves uncertainly ahead, you might close your eyes and listen. Listen to the quiet strength that reverberates through time, to the gentle persistence of ordinary souls carving out a life amid the capricious whims of kings and legends. It's a soothing sound, like the world's slow, steady heartbeat, reminding you that at the core of every grand tale there lies the simple, enduring truth of everyday existence. As evening deepens, the labyrinth becomes a cocoon of shadow and whisper, a secluded sanctuary cradling the day's stories before they slip silent into memory. The labyrinth is both mystery and serenity, a reminder that even within the most perplexing of mazes, there is an inherent order, an ancient pattern woven from the fabric of history and human experience.
Let your thoughts linger here amidst these shadowed paths that hold the stories of so many before you. Imagine how they faced their fears, sought out comfort, whispered dreams under these same stars, stars that are glittering gently above, eternal and unchanging. And in these fleeting yet eternal moments, feel the labyrinth guide you not to a mythic beast or hidden treasure, but to a deeper, calmer understanding of the quiet lives that lived within its embrace. A quiet, grounding peace, lest the world outside this maze becomes too loud, too fast, and too bright.
In the stillness of the labyrinth, one might imagine the air clinging to the walls like a gentle mist. These stones, worn smooth by the passage of time, hold echoes of footsteps long past. You could almost hear them now, the soft,
deliberate footfalls of a young Athenian or cautious Cretan traveler exploring its twisting passages, searching for the heart of mystery at its center. As they wandered, the air would be cool, a refreshing balm against the relentless heat outside. Like a hidden chamber within the mind, the labyrinth offered a strange sanctuary where each turn beckoned with a whisper of discovery. Here, scents would linger, the earthy aroma of old stone mingled with the faint sea breeze that occasionally found its way inside, reminding all who walked these paths of the great world beyond. Imagine, if you will, the flickering dance of torchlight playing along these walls, adding warmth to their otherwise cold embrace. Shadows would stretch and sway, as if telling stories of those who came before, tales etched in the language of light and dark. In this place, the unseen Minotaur becomes not a beast of nightmares, but a symbol of the unknown, a figure woven from whispers and myths. The creature lurking at the center was a mystery as tangible as the stones underfoot, a part of a story so old it felt woven into the very fabric of the labyrinth itself. For those navigating these ancient corridors, time seemed to ripple and distort. Hours could pass unnoticed, absorbed by the rhythmic passage of step after step, the sights and sounds melding into a harmonious lullaby. This was a meditative dance, a journey inward as well as forward. Travelers might pause, resting their hands against the cool, solid comfort of the walls, feeling the vibrations of history embedded within. A smattering of tiny creatures, unseen, added a subtle vibrancy to this space. The distant chirp of crickets, or the gentle brushing of moth wings upon stone, made the labyrinth feel alive, breathing quietly alongside those who ventured within. Here even the air seemed to hum with potential, a reminder of life beyond the labyrinth, yet full of stories waiting to be uncovered. These intricate carvings and murals on the labyrinth walls would be a testament to both the creativity and fears of those who constructed it. They depicted tales of deities and heroes, snapshots of a world where gods mingled with mortals and the line between the two blurred with dreamlike ease. Their edges softened by time, these images seemed to pulsate with ancient energy, inviting a delicate trace of fingers over their surfaces, like reading a manuscript composed not in words, but in the soul of artistry. For those who lingered long enough with these images, there was a sense of kinship across the ages, a gentle reminder that despite the vast chasm of years, human hopes, dreams, and fears remain constants, swirling like wisps around life's steady flame. We share more than divides us, these walls seem to say, echoing stories of love and loss, struggle and triumph, the very fabric of existence that ties us together. Imagine standing in the presence of such enduring art, allowing its silent stories to seep into your consciousness like warm shadows wrapping around you. The characters and scenes etched into the stone offered both company and solace, reassuring the lonely traveler that they are never truly alone, not here in the company of ancient creators whose hands once moved across these walls. As their journey continued, those traversing the labyrinth might pause to reflect on the blend of mystery and reality, the fine line between fear of the unknown and the comfort of tangible symbols that define our world. The labyrinth itself was a guardian of stories untold, its pathways a gentle challenge to those who dared to dance upon its surfaces. With every step deeper into the labyrinth's heart, you sensed a profound quiet that resonated not with emptiness but fullness, a presence woven from ages of humanity's collective wanderings.
Here, amidst the entwined paths of legend and reality, one found the peaceful peninsula of myth, where dreams breathed gently alongside the footsteps of the curious, each pressing forward into the quiet labyrinth, drawn by charm and serenity. And there, nestled gently in the labyrinth's heart, a quiet chamber opens up, illumined by soft golden light that streams from an unseen source above. It invites you to pause, to rest. Suspended in this glow, an altar stands, simple and unadorned, yet charged with the weight of history. A meeting place for body, mind, and myth. It whispers of offerings made long ago, of hopes whispered into the stone's embrace, of fears laid bare and overcome. Breath comes easy here, untroubled by the weight of thought or the chaos of the outer world. Here, enveloped in warmth and silence, you are free to explore the stories, to gather their whispers like petals scattered on a breeze, and to leave, perhaps, a story of your own, etched in the air.
This journey through the quiet labyrinth is both a physical and a metaphysical one. Each path, while leading deeper into shadow, promises illumination, an unfolding of inner skies where serenity lies. It's a masterpiece crafted from moments of eternity, a place where the ancient and the modern meet, where dreams unfurl and mysteries are, for a time, meditated upon and released. Here, in this peaceful heart of legend, you find a truth shared across the arc of humanity. Amidst winding paths and myths untamed, there is a sacred space for calm, for reflection, for sojourning with peace in an eternal dance of shadow and light. As you wander further into this mysterious narrative, let your mind gently drift into the labyrinth that bears the silent tales of an ancient world. The air is cruel and heavy with history, a texture you can almost feel with each breath, a tapestry of stories woven into the very stone around you. The labyrinth is quiet, its silence a soft lullaby inviting you to explore its twists and turns at a pace that feels just right. In this darkened maze, light becomes a rare companion, glinting tentatively off polished stone, sketching gentle patterns across the smooth ground. The light flickers, perhaps from torches, their tips whispering to you in the subtleties of shadow play. As you wander deeper, envision the simple life those ancient souls must have led outside this stony network, their days lightly filled with repetitive rhythms, much like the gentle back and forth of a sleepy hammock in a morning breeze. Picture villagers of ancient Crete rising with the sun, the landscape bathed in golden hues. Their mornings would begin with comforting rituals, water splashed on sleepy faces, joints loosened with a slow, deliberate stretch. These simple acts, while significant, were performed with gentle regularity, near hypnotic in their soothing predictability. Picture thin trails of smoke rising from the hearths, carrying with them the aroma of firewood, adding an earthy, grounding sense of calm to the bustling start of a day. Outside the labyrinth, where daily life unfolded, villages dotted the landscape like patches of dreams, stitched into the fabric of rolling hills. You can imagine these people tending to their basic needs amid the symphony of whispers from waving olive trees. There is grace in their movements as they work the soil, their fingers diving into the earth, coaxing life, seasons upon seasons. Theirs was a connection to the land, not unlike the gentle bond we feel when carefully nurturing a plant on a windowsill,
watching it respond to our attentiveness.
Life in ancient Crete, you might imagine, was a series of serene routines. Ceramic vessels filled with water, the touch of rough-hewn wood underfoot, and the sweet rhythm of domesticity. The close of fields invited their dance of labor, planting, harvesting, always in tune with the earth's whispers. Each task, a meditation of presence and patience, had its role in the daily choreography, performed each day with quiet dignity. Food, prepared in the simplest of ways, would carry the essence of the land itself. You might imagine the warm, nutty scent of fresh-baked bread, the staple of sustenance, its crust offering whispers of rustic earth and sun-warmed wheat. An image may emerge of creased hands caressing grain, a steady, rhythmic motion that is simplicity defined. The humble meals shared in the collective hum of family and neighbors provided nourishment just as much to the soul as it did to the body. Didn't they too, like us, gather around food seeking both comfort and connection? Through such shared moments, quiet as they were, the labyrinth of life itself was gently unwound. Pause now, and let these thoughts linger like a dust settling in a beam of sunlight, breathing life into these imagined scenes. Reflect on how the simple tasks and serene moments of past and present humans connect us across the ebb and flow of centuries. Many of these ephemeral joys are still woven into our more modern lives. A steaming mug of tea, the melody of a bird song, or even a shared glance in a bustling street. Time itself becomes less of a barrier and more of a bridge when we consider how deeply our experience mirrors theirs. In this spirit of reflective curiosity, the image of the labyrinth turns tender, glowing with the light of understanding, inviting us to explore its mysteries further still, not just with the mind, but with the heart. Each step, whether forward or backward, mirrors the eternal quest of discovery, the soothing unwinding of life's eternal tangle. As the labyrinth stretches out into metaphor, take with you the calm assurance that you are welcome here, invited not to solve its riddles, but to wander its pathways with the same slow delight one might savor an afternoon sunbeam filtering into a dusty old library. Here, the Minotaur's myth transcends fear, whispering instead of dreams wrapped in stone and visions sculpted by time. Thus, the labyrinth exists not as a prison or trap, but as a testament to reflection, resilience, and the quiet power of the myth itself. Like a child's breath at sleep, soft, melodic, and unhurried, the legend of the Minotaur becomes a part of that greater, calming current of stories that shape who we are. Allow yourself to drift into this gentle embrace and feel the labyrinth unwind, opening new passages as old ones close, guiding us ever inward to that place where history sleeps, undisturbed, under the gentle weight of centuries. As you gently drift deeper into the heart of the labyrinth, the sounds of the outside world fade away, replaced by an almost tangible silence that wraps around you like a comforting blanket. Imagine the walls of the maze around you. They rise up, smooth and worn by ages, their surfaces cool to the touch, and they whisper secrets of a time long past. Here, in this quiet and secluded place, the myth of the Minotaur becomes more than just a tale. It becomes a soft murmur echoing through the stone corridors and weaving its way into the fabric of the night. In this sacred silence, you can't help but wonder about the ancient people who constructed such a place, a testament to their beliefs and their fears, their struggles and triumphs.
The Minoans, whose civilization blossomed like a delicate flower on the island of Crete, left behind a legacy of art and architecture that spoke of their sophistication and connection to the world around them. Their lives, though separated from ours by centuries, were filled with rhythms and routines that echo our own in gentle, enduring ways. Imagine waking up in a Minoan household. The morning air is fresh with the scent of the sea, mingled with the earthy aroma of olive oil and fresh bread. Light filters in gently through wooden shutters as the sweet song of birds greets the dawn. Life begins slowly with a morning meal of figs, honey, and soft cheese, a gentle nourishment to start the day. The Minoans, much like us, knew the value of moments of calm amidst the hum of everyday life. Throughout the day, they engaged in tasks that required both skill and patience, crafting pottery with intricate designs, weaving textiles dyed in vibrant hues, or tending to lush gardens filled with herbs and flowers. In these simple tasks, they found a sense of connection and purpose, much as we do today when we take the time to immerse ourselves in creative or meditative activities.
Even the rituals of health and hygiene in the Minoan world offer a glimpse into a lifestyle where care and balance were intertwined with the rhythm of life. Bathing held a ritualistic significance, with water gathered from cool springs and carefully poured over the skin, washing away both dirt and daily cares. Herbal knowledge was revered, and remedies fashioned from wild plants offered comfort and healing for ailments that were both physical and spiritual in nature. Imagine these scenes surrounded by the verdant landscape of Crete. The very air seems to hum with an ancient melody, one carried forward by the gentle swaying of tall grasses and the rustling of golden wheat fields. It's almost as if every breath was designed to remind its devotees of the blessings of nature and the serenity of the world they inhabited. As the day shifts and the sun begins its slow descent, the Minoan civilization embraced moments of togetherness and reflection. Gathered around tables under the stars, with the soft glow of clay lamps providing a warm circle of light, they shared stories and songs of wondrous adventures and formidable heroes. This was a time to nourish the spirit, just as the body was nourished, with wine devoutly poured and food lovingly prepared. Their laughter mingled with the crackling of the fire, the unity of community providing solace against the fears of an uncertain world. Now, reflect on the Minotaur, nestled within the heart of the Labyrinth. It symbolizes fears born from both the darkness within and the formidable unknown outside. For the Minoans, as with their intricate tapestries and vast murals, there was a deeper understanding of the complexities of life woven into the myth. The labyrinth and the creature within were reminders of challenges faced and overcome, of the balance between control and chaos.
In this tranquil moment, consider how their nightly rituals provided solace. Much like our own, they weaved stories with tender familial bonds, and fears whispered under a starlit sky, soothed by time-honored practices and the embrace of tradition. Their fears and aspirations, wild and soft-spoken, lived in the echoes within their homes, much as ours find their sanctuary within the bounds of our bedrooms. Allow yourself to linger a while in this place of mystery and myth, where whispers of history intermingle with the stillness of the night. Let it remind you that even amidst life's labyrinthine paths, there are moments of profound peace waiting to be discovered, to guide you gently to a place of rest as ancient echoes sing you softly into dreams. The labyrinth, for all its perplexities, holds within it a promise, a quiet reassurance that even in the midst of complexity,
there will always be pathways to peace. Each gentle twist and turn is a reminder that with every step forward, you move closer not only to the center of the maze, but also to the stillness within yourself. As you savor the calm embrace of this moment, remember that like the Minoans, you can find tranquility amid the chaos of life. It's there, in the quiet corridors of your own imagination, waiting for you to explore, to unwind, and finally to rest.
As evening settled its gentle cloak over the labyrinthine Isle of Crete, you might imagine the ancient city of Knossos quieting to a hushed rhythm. The hustle and bustle of the day's market trades and the calls of vendors slowly gave way to the more gentle symphony of evening sounds, crickets chirping their melodic notes as dusk deepened, the distant bleat of a goat calling to the retreating sun, and, every so often, the soft splash of waves caressing the island's rugged shore. Picture the people of this ancient civilization as they slip comfortably into their nightly routines. Families gather around modest meals, rich with the flavors of olive oil and fragrant herbs, their laughter barely audible over the last cicada song of the day. Here, within their homes made of cool stone and clay, the air hangs heavy with the sweetness of well-earned rest. What thoughts might fill the quiet moments after supper? Perhaps tales of the gods, whispered legends of the stars shimmering above, or dreams of tomorrow's harvest unraveled in the waning lamplight. In these quiet hours, as the world outside the modest abodes drew inward, thoughts inevitably turned towards creatures of myth and the fabled labyrinth not far from this tranquil domesticity. Imagine for a moment the labyrinth itself, a maze of intricate passageways hidden deep beneath the palace grounds, its reputation hovering somewhere between reality and legend. How the tales of its beastly inhabitant, the Minotaur, must have echoed through the years, shaping not just the imaginations of children, but ensuring sleepless nights even among the bravest of adults, shadowed by flickering torchlight. You might consider how, for many, the Minotaur represented the perfect blend of fear and fascination, a creature born of divine machinations and human flaw, embodying a story that seemed almost written in the stars above. As you breathe in the comforting scent of olive wood smoke, blending with fragrant herbs, imagine the village folk sharing hushed tales of bravery and cunning. The hero Theseus's improbable journey into the labyrinth, his resolute heart guided only by a simple ball of thread. But set aside the maze and its mythical resident for a moment, and think instead about the small and mundane, the things that truly shaped daily life. Consider the simple act of preparing for bed in these times, as stars begin their nightly vigil in the sky. For the denizens of Knossos, evening rituals involved careful preparation, the gentle washing away of the day, a splash of cool water from the well to cleanse and refresh. The feel of woven linens, soft from repeated use, draped over tired bodies, seeking the embrace of slumber. And as those ancient Cretans closed their eyes, perhaps they turned over in their minds the same questions we do today. What dreams might the night bring? Would they be vivid, teeming with mythical beasts and heroic feats, or simple and fragmented, echoes of daily life reimagined in the soft hues of sleep's canvas? Did they wonder, like we often do, at the nature of dreams, their shadows playing about the edges of consciousness like misremembered stories from a hazy yesterday? Imagining yourself weaving through these sun-baked stone streets, you might muse about the enduring allure of such myths, the stories that transcended mere human lifetimes,
carving truths from fantasy, teaching courage through wonder. How they still speak to a little part of us as the wind sings through the ancient olive trees, carrying with it whispers from a time when gods walked among men and ordinary nights brimmed with extraordinary potential. And maybe it is this ever-present potential that brings a sense of peace, even calm, a reminder that amidst the clamor and chaos there exists a corner of respite, a labyrinth of reflection within ourselves where we untangle the threads of our thoughts, like Theseus with his magical thread, unraveling and exploring until at last we reach our center. It's in these quiet inward journeys that we connect with those who walked these paths before us, unified by shared humanity and the timeless quest for understanding.
With this story, eternally enwoven with paths and choices, fears and triumphs, the labyrinth becomes a metaphorical space where past meets present. Just as in those ancient days, today the flicker of curiosity, guided softly by the night's promise, invites you to wander into new realms as tenderly as a dreamer awakes. And there, perhaps, lies the invitation to lose oneself briefly in the maze, not for fear of monsters, but to uncover a deeper resting peace in the quiet heart of history.
As you settle into this moment of stillness, you find yourself transported to the heart of Crete, enveloped by the rustling whispers of the olive trees. Their branches stretch out, laden with ripening fruit that sends a mellow, earthy aroma wafting through the air. It's a reminder of simpler times, when life unfolded at a pace set not by clocks, but by seasons. In this sanctuary, the tale of the Minotaur unfurls like a melody played softly on the lute. We tiptoe back into the past, where myth slips silently into the fabric of everyday life, weaving mysterious threads with the mundane. The labyrinth, with its twists and turns, wasn't merely a symbol of perplexity, but a vivid backdrop in which life flowed with a quiet routine. Families gathered under the shade of these ancient trees to share stories that linked myth and memory, reality and reverie. Picture a circle of eager faces basking in the golden glow of a setting sun. Elders trace their stories with gestures as fluid as the smoke drifting upward from a shared meal cooked over an open flame. While much of life was rooted in the practical and the tangible, these tales of gods and monsters added a dash of wonder to the everyday humdrum. Imagine for a moment the aroma of freshly baked bread mingling with the fragrant scent of wild thyme and rosemary scattered underfoot. The Cretans' meals were a symphony of sensory delight, with textures and tastes built on ingredients straight from their surroundings. The olive oil, a golden elixir, flowed not only in their diet, but in trade, weaving the island's prosperity.
Eating was more than mere sustenance. It was a communal affair, rich with laughter and gentle teasing, as neighbors and families gathered to break bread under the evening sky. The bread itself, rough and crusty, spoke of the hands that kneaded and baked it, of the shared effort that brought it from field to table. At these tables, stories of the Minotaur whispered into conversation, as ordinary men and women reflected on the balance between the monstrous and the mundane. It was an allegory that resonated deeply, perhaps more than we care to admit, mirroring the inner labyrinths we each traverse, seeking the light of understanding amid shadowy fears and hidden dreams. The island's artisans, inspired by these legends,
captured the dance of myth and reality in delicate frescoes brushed across plaster walls. A vivid procession of colors and forms, like dancers frozen mid-sway, animated their villa interiors with vibrant scenes that could stir even the heaviest of hearts. And in this, there was an almost meditative reflection. For how else could one face their own Minotaur, except with the calm endurance taught by life itself? The labyrinth was also a place of slowing down, a reminder that not every twist and turn has to be met with urgency, that sometimes pausing and reflecting is as brave as forging ahead.
As night falls, the olive grove dawns a new guise, its shadows deepening as moonlight streams through, silvering the leaves. Conversations soften into murmurs, the stories set adrift on the evening breeze, woven into the lullaby of distant waves kissing the shore. You can almost feel the grains of sand underfoot and the cool sea mist against your skin, a gentle reminder of the island's dual nature, part land, part sea, like all of us, part shadow, part light. In the heart of Crete, amid the rustle of leaves whispering age-old secrets, you find an echo of these ancient ways. The tales of the Minotaur and the Labyrinth are more than echoes of a distant past. They're reflections of the enduring dance between chaos and calm that we all navigate, finding peace in the spaces between. The rhythm of ancient life was slow and mindful, like a gentle flow of a stream. Each day brought small rituals of living, collecting water, feeding animals, tending to crops, weaving baskets, and carving wood. The simplicity of these tasks, carried out under the open sky, allowed time for the mind to wander, to muse on stories, and perhaps see oneself in their reflected wisdom. Imagine the sturdy feel of pottery, molded by skilled hands from the very earth beneath, vessels that held the bread, wine, and stories of the island's daily rhythms. Each fingerprint left in the clay was a testament to lives lived with purpose, reminding us of the continuity from hand to hand. In the cadence of Cretan life, between the weave of work and rest, there was space for dreams and imagination. Our modern rush feels far away when you sit in the shade of history's olive trees, where the air itself invites reflection and rest. And so, as you drift toward the gentle embrace of slumber, held by these quiet echoes of another time, remember that like the ancient Cretans, you have your own stories to weave, your own labyrinths to explore. And perhaps, somewhere in the twists and turns, you'll find that the Minotaur is not a beast to be feared, but a part of the journey itself, leading you gently back toward the light. The island whispers its good night, its stories folding like soft linen, bringing you a lullaby of serene contemplation and a promise that every shadow holds a spark of light, waiting to guide you home. As the labyrinth looms in distant shadow, your thoughts drift with ease to the cool stone underfoot, each step resonating softly in the vast quiet. Here, beneath the open sky, the world inside the labyrinth feels a world apart from the hum of bustling Athens or the distant shimmer of the sea. It offers a curious comfort, as though the stones remember every tale ever whispered into their intent curves and turns, each pathway echoing stories of laughter, fear, and adventure. In this very tranquil setting, the outer sounds of life seem muffled, cushioned by the weight of history and the quiet patience of time. The air is tinged with a faint earthy whisper, like the promises of old fossils buried beneath ancient soil, and the memories retained in the dark, weather-beaten lines and grays of the stones. Breathe in this ancient air,
The musty but comforting aroma bears a symphony long faded, from the drape of distant juniper to undertones of sea breeze wafting from afar, a gentle caress against your skin. Here, even whispers sound like secrets kept between friends. Walking further, each echo lends itself to reflection. One can almost imagine life as it might have been when myths were real, tales ripe for the telling. The labyrinth, with its great walls, must have seemed like an enigma, a place where stories wove tapestries of imagination, where the mythical Minotaur, part man, part bull, stalked the interwoven paths carved by human hands, a creature resting deep in both dream and nightmare. Curiously, you might wonder how ordinary people lived alongside such tales, absorbing and living day by day under the weight of such majestic myths. Did they burden themselves with these legends, or rather did they find a strange amusement and comfort within them? Life, despite the crying, bustling roads of markets and fields, surely carried a simplicity of routine and ritual, perhaps not unlike our own, marked by sunrise to sunset, with moments stolen for contemplation and dreams.
Now cast into your mind a scene where families gather with bread baked over communal fires, the scent of char mingling with olive oil as laughter fills the gaps between them. This daily bread, the artos, is rolled by many hands, each one kneading a wealth of heritage and the hopes resting therein. They live simply, finding beauty in small daily patterns, from the careful attendance to olive groves to whispered conversations shared under moonlit skies where shadows play gentle games on walls. In those moments, how might they have reconciled the myth of the Minotaur with the ordinary touch of daily life? Perhaps over time they wove these stories into existence, not as monstrous truth, but as comforting metaphor, explanations for the uncertainties woven into their world. Thus ensconced in warm light by evening's curtain, or under Persephone's pomegranate dark sky, each tale begot not fear, but a spark of connection, threading them to one another and their world through shared narrative. And so, imagine yourself among those figures, where the glow from the hearth breathes warmth over the chilly night air. Time stretches, patient like the stars above, ready to pause and lean into the warmth, sipping on the wine pressed from late harvest grapes, fragrant yet earthy. The soft sound of lyres imbues the air, their strings vibrating in harmony with the cicada's ancient song, collectively spinning tales in time. But here too, the mundane persists, entwined with the grandiosity of myth. Sitting in the shadows, unnoticed perhaps, are the smaller aspects of their daily attention. The papyrus records written in tidy sequences by scribes, or the woolen threads meticulously woven on looms, each creating patterns so attuned and precise, shadowing their experiences, dreams, or desires for the future. The very rhythm of their hands, guiding tools through threads and paper, mimicked commands of enduring constellations, vessels for comfort and purpose. It becomes easier to dwelling on these softer details, to imagine the Minotaur as more than a beast, but a guardian of mystery, a gift of introspection on coexistence, a running thread through generations, linking myth and fact into a tapestry of calm reflections. The fear becomes respect, a note of melody within life's chorus, a beacon of imagination rather than terror. It beckons them and you to reconcile the gentle touch of daily life with the overarching canopy of myth. Thus, within this tranquil labyrinth, untangle your thoughts, gently finding understanding woven within ancient whispers. Think of it not with dread, but as a garden of reflection, where history breathes quietly, reminiscent of a library,
resonant with age and wisdom. Allow the ambiance to lull your senses, letting the weight of the past cradle your being, and, as always, exhale gently, filling your path with the same age-old resilience shining through history's brushed gold. In this timeless journey through thought and dream, hold close the quiet power of myth and reason itself, as both welcome you into this eternal labyrinth of the mind, where fear and understanding rest hand in hand.